Best books in the world. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we want to talk about some best books to read in the world. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's see together. Number 1. The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings is a classic fantasy novel by J.R.R. Tolkien, who was an English author and scholar. It is set in a fictional world called Middle-earth, where various races of beings such as hobbits, elves, dwarves, and men struggle against the evil power of Sauron, the Dark Lord, who wants to conquer the world with his One Ring. The novel consists of 3 parts: The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. It was first published between 1954 and 1955 and has since become one of the most popular and influential works of literature in the 20th century. The novel follows the adventures of a group of heroes known as the Fellowship of the Ring, who are tasked with destroying the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom, where it was forged. Along the way, they face many dangers and enemies such as orcs, trolls, wizards, and dragons. The novel also explores themes such as friendship, courage, loyalty, sacrifice, and destiny. The Lord of the Rings has been adapted into various media such as films, games, music, and art. It has also inspired many other writers and creators to create their own fantasy worlds and stories. Number 2. The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is a dystopian novel by Susan Collins, who is an American writer. It is the first book in a trilogy that also includes Catching Fire and Mockingjay. It was published in 2008 and has sold over 100 million copies worldwide. The novel is set in a future world where North America has been divided into 12 districts, ruled by a tyrannical government called the Capitol. Every year, the Capitol forces each district to send one boy and one girl, aged 12 to 18, to participate in a televised death match called the Hunger Games. The winner of the Hunger Games is the last one alive. The novel follows the story of Katniss Everdeen, a 16-year-old girl from District 12 who volunteers to take her sister's place in the 74th Hunger Games. She's joined by Peeta Mellark, a boy who once saved her life by giving her bread. Together, they face many dangers and challenges in the arena, while also trying to survive the manipulations of the Capitol and the public. The Hunger Games explores themes such as survival, rebellion, loyalty, love, and media influence. It has been praised for its compelling plot, strong characters, and social commentary. It has also been criticized for its violence, similarities to other works, and portrayal of gender roles. The Hunger Games has been adapted into a film series starring Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen. The first film was released in 2012 and the last one in 2015. The films have been commercially successful and critically acclaimed. Number 3. Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a series of 7 fantasy novels by J.K. Rowling, who is a British author. The novels tell the story of Harry Potter, a young boy who discovers he is a wizard and attends Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, where he makes friends and enemies, learns magic, and faces the Dark Lord Voldemort, who killed his parents and wants to destroy the wizarding world. The novels are Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, 1997, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, 1998, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, 1999, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, 2000, Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, 2003, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, 2005, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, 2007. The novels have sold over 500 million copies worldwide and have been translated into 80 languages. They have also been adapted into 8 films, a play, a theme park, and various spin offs. The novels are set in a magical world that coexists with the Muggle non magical world and explore themes such as friendship, courage, loyalty, love, and destiny. They have been praised for their imaginative plot, rich characters, and moral messages. They have also been criticized for their violence, religious references, and cultural appropriation. Number 4, The Fault in Our Stars. The Fault in Our Stars is a novel by John Green, a renowned author of young adult fiction. It was published on January 10, 2012 and became a bestseller. The novel tells the story of Hazel Grace Langston, a 16-year-old girl with thyroid cancer that has affected her lungs, and Augustus Waters, a 17-year-old boy who lost his legs to osteosarcoma. They meet at a support group and fall in love while facing the challenges of living with terminal illnesses. The novel is praised for its insightful, bold, irreverent, and raw portrayal of the funny, thrilling, and tragic aspects of being alive and in love. It also explores themes such as fate, free will, suffering, mortality, and the meaning of life. The novel has won several awards such as the Children's Choice Book Award for Teen Book of the Year and the Durafte Junge Literaturpreis. It has also been adapted into a film in 2014 starring Shailene Woodley and Ansel Elgort. Number 5, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a psychological thriller novel by Swedish author and journalist Stieg Larsson. It was published posthumously in 2005, translated into English in 2008, and became an international bestseller. It is the first book in the Millennium series which follows the adventures of Mikael Blomkvist, a disgraced journalist, and Lisbeth Salander, a hacker with a dragon tattoo and a troubled past. The novel combines murder mystery, family saga, love story, and financial intrigue into one complex and atmospheric story. The novel revolves around the disappearance of Harriet Wenger, a scion of one of Sweden's wealthiest families who vanished 40 years ago. Her uncle, Henrik Wenger, hires Blomkvist to investigate the case with the help of Salander. They uncover a dark and twisted history of the Wenger family involving secrets, lies, and violence. The novel also explores themes such as misogyny, corruption, sexual abuse, and revenge. The novel has won several awards, such as the Glaskey Award for Best Nordic Crime Novel and the British Book Award for Crime Thriller of the Year. It has also been adapted into 2 films, one in Swedish in 2009 and one in English in 2011, both starring different actors as Blomkvist and Salander. Number 6, The Da Vinci Code. The Da Vinci Code is a mystery thriller novel by Dan Brown. It was published in 2003 and became a worldwide bestseller one. It is the second novel to feature the character Robert Langdon, a Harvard symbologist who specializes in solving puzzles and codes related to ancient secrets and conspiracies. The first novel was Angels and Demons, published in 2000. The novel follows Langdon as he is summoned to the Louvre Museum in Paris, where the elderly curator has been murdered and left a series of clues that point to a hidden truth about the Holy Grail. Langdon teams up with Sophie Neveu, a cryptologist and the curator's granddaughter, to decipher the clues and evade the pursuit of a fanatical sect of the Catholic Church called the Opus Dei. Along the way, they discover shocking revelations about the origins of Christianity, the role of women in history, and the identity of the mysterious Priory of Sion. The novel is known for its controversial and provocative claims about religion, art, history, and culture, which have sparked debates and criticisms from various scholars, critics, and religious groups. The novel also incorporates elements of fiction, fact, and speculation, blending them into a fast paced and suspenseful story that challenges the reader's assumptions and beliefs. The novel has won several awards, such as the British Book Award for Book of the Year and the W.H. Smith Literary Award for Fiction. It has also been adapted into a film in 2006, starring Tom Hanks as Langdon and Audrey Tautou as Navu. Number 7. The Kite Runner. The Kite Runner is the first novel by Afghan-American author Khaled Hosseini. It was published in 2003 by Riverhead Books and became a best-selling and acclaimed work of fiction. It tells the story of Amir, a young boy from Kabul, who grows up with his friend and servant Hassan, a member of the persecuted Hazara minority. The novel spans over 3 decades of Afghan history, from the fall of the monarchy to the rise of Taliban, and explores themes such as friendship, loyalty, betrayal, guilt, redemption, and the power of storytelling. The novel begins with Amir's childhood in Kabul, where he enjoys flying kites with Hassan, who is a skilled kite runner. Amir's father, Baba, is a wealthy and respected businessman, but he is disappointed in Amir's lack of courage and masculinity. Amir also feels jealous of Baba's affection for Hassan, who is actually his half-brother, a secret that Baba keeps from both boys. One day, after winning a kite fighting tournament, Amir witnesses Hassan being raped by a local bully named Asif, but he does nothing to help him. Then, he tries to distance himself from Hassan and eventually frames him for stealing, leading to Hassan and his father leaving Baba's house. Years later, Amir and Baba flee to America after the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Amir adapts to his new life and becomes a writer. He marries an Afghan woman named Soraya, but they are unable to have children. One day, he receives a call from his father's old friend Rahim Khan, who tells him that Hassan and his wife were killed by the Taliban and that their son Sohrab is in an orphanage in Kabul. Rahim Khan also reveals that Hassan was Amir's half-brother and that he has a chance to redeem himself by rescuing Sohrab. Amir decides to go back to Afghanistan, where he faces many dangers and challenges. He eventually finds Sohrab, who has been abused by Asif, now a Taliban official. Amir fights Asif and manages to escape with Sohrab, but not without injuries and scars. Amir brings Sohrab to Pakistan, where he hopes to adopt him and take him to America. However, he faces many bureaucratic obstacles and delays. Sohrab becomes depressed and attempts suicide. Amir prays for his recovery and promises to never abandon him again. He also tries to make Sohrab smile by flying a kite with him, as Hassan used to do. The novel ends with Amir running the kite for Sohrab, echoing Hassan's words, "For you, 1,000 times over." Number 8. Gone Girl. Gone Girl is a crime thriller novel by American writer Gillian Flynn. It was published by Crown Publishing Group in June 2012 and became a New York Times bestseller and a critical success. It is a story of a marriage gone wrong, a missing wife, and a husband who becomes the prime suspect. The novel is told from the alternating perspectives of Nick Dunn and his wife Amy Elliott Dunn, who revealed their secrets, lies, and manipulations through their narration. The novel begins on the day of Nick and Amy's 5th wedding anniversary, when Amy disappears from their home in North Carthage, Missouri. Nick reports her disappearance to the police, but he soon becomes the main suspect as the evidence points to his involvement. He also acts strangely and hides things from the investigators, such as his affair with a young student named Andy. Nick claims that he's innocent and that Amy has set him up, but he has no proof. He hires a lawyer named Tanner Bolts to defend him and tries to find clues that Amy left behind in the form of anniversary treasure hunt. The novel then switches to Amy's diary entries, which date back to 7 years ago, when she first met Nick in New York. She portrays herself as a happy and loving wife who sacrificed her career and money to support Nick's dreams. She also describes how their marriage deteriorated after they lost their jobs, moved to Missouri to take care of Nick's dying mother, and faced financial troubles. She reveals that she was afraid of Nick's temper and violence, and that she planned to leave him on their anniversary. However, halfway through the novel, the plot takes a major twist when it is revealed that Amy is alive and has faked her own disappearance and murder. She explains that she did it to punish Nick for cheating on her and neglecting her. She also reveals that she fabricated her diary entries to make herself look like a perfect wife and Nick look like an abusive husband. She planned everything in advance, planting false clues, framing Nick, and creating a fake identity as Nancy, a pregnant woman who rents a cabin in the Ozarks. She also befriended a couple named Greta and Jeff, who later robbed her of her money and belongings. Amy then decides to kill herself and make it look like Nick murdered her. But she changes her mind when she sees Nick's televised interview, where he apologizes to her and professes his life for her. She realizes that he is playing along with her game and wants her back. She then contacts her ex-boyfriend, Desi Collins, who has been obsessed with her since high school, and asks him for help. He agrees to take her to his lake house, where he treats her like a prisoner. Amy then seduces him and kills him with a box cutter, making it look like self-defense. She then returns to Nick, claiming that Desi kidnapped and raped her and that she escaped from him. Nick is shocked and disgusted by Amy's actions, but he has no choice but to accept her back, as the media and the public praise her as a hero and a survivor. He also learns that Amy is pregnant with his child, using his sperm that she stole from a fertility clinic. He confronts her about her lies and crimes, but she threatens to expose him or harm their child if he leaves her or tells anyone the truth. Nick decides to stay with her for the sake of their child, but he also writes a memoir that exposes everything that Amy did. He plans to publish it after their child is born, but Amy finds out about it and destroys it. The novel ends with Nick and Amy still together, living in a state of mutual hatred and dependence. Number 9. Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is a novel of manners by English writer Jane Austen, first published in 1813. It is one of the most popular and influential novels in English literature, and has been adapted into many films, TV shows, and other media. The novel tells the story of Elizabeth Bennet, the second of 5 daughters of a country gentleman who faces various challenges in finding a suitable husband in the society of the landed gentry of the British Regency. She meets and clashes with Fitzwilliam Darcy, a wealthy and proud aristocrat who initially looks down on her and her family. The novel explores the themes of love, marriage, class, reputation, and self-knowledge through the witty and lively dialogue, the realistic and complex characters, and the ironic and humorous narration. The novel begins with the arrival of Mr. Bingley, a rich and amiable bachelor who rents a nearby estate called Netherfield Park. He brings with him his sisters, his friend Mr. Darcy, and his cousin Colonel Fitzwilliam. Mr. Bingley is immediately attracted to Elizabeth's eldest sister, Jane Bennet, who is beautiful and gentle. However, Mr. Darcy insults Elizabeth at a ball, saying that she is tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt me. Elizabeth overhears his remark and dislikes him for his pride and rudeness. The novel then follows the events that bring Elizabeth and Darcy together and apart as they encounter various obstacles in their relationship, such as Mr. Wickham, a charming but deceitful officer who lies about Darcy's past, Miss Bingley, who tries to separate Bingley from Jane. Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Darcy's haughty and domineering aunt who opposes his marriage to Elizabeth. Mr. Collins, Elizabeth's pompous and obsequious cousin who proposes to her. And Lydia Bennet, Elizabeth's youngest and most reckless sister who elopes with Wickham. The novel reaches its climax when Darcy confesses his love to Elizabeth and proposes to her, but she rejects him for his arrogance, his interference in Bingley and Jane's relationship, and his mistreatment of Wickham. He then writes her a letter that explains his actions and reveals Wickham's true character. Elizabeth realizes that she has been prejudiced against Darcy and that he is actually a generous and honorable man. The novel ends with the resolution of the main conflicts, as Darcy helps to find Lydia and Wickham and pays for their wedding. Bingley returns to Netherfield and proposes to Jane. Lady Catherine visits Elizabeth and tries to persuade her not to marry Darcy, but only succeeds in confirming Elizabeth's love for him. Mr. Collins marries Charlotte Lucas, Elizabeth's sensible sister, and Darcy proposes to Elizabeth again, this time with her acceptance. Number 10. The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby is a novel by American writer F. Scott Fitzgerald, published in 1925. It is considered one of the greatest works of American literature and a classic of the Jazz Age or the Roaring Twenties. The novel is set on Long Island near New York City and follows the life and events of Nick Carraway, a young and aspiring writer who moves to West Egg, a wealthy but unfashionable area, where he rents a house next to the mansion of Jay Gatsby, a mysterious and rich man who throws lavish parties every weekend. The novel explores the themes of decadence, idealism, social mobility, love, and the American dream through the complex and tragic relationships between the characters. Nick becomes fascinated by Gatsby, who is secretly in love with Daisy Buchanan, Nick's cousin and the wife of Tom Buchanan, a brutish and unfaithful millionaire who lives in East Egg, a more fashionable and aristocratic area. Daisy and Gatsby had a brief romance before he went to war, but she married Tom while he was away. Gatsby has devoted his life to becoming rich and famous, hoping to win Daisy back. He asks Nick to arrange a reunion with her, and they rekindle their affair. The novel reaches its climax when Tom confronts Gatsby about his affair with Daisy and accuses him of being a bootlegger and criminal. Daisy is torn between her love for Gatsby and her loyalty to Tom. They drive back to Long Island in separate cars, and Daisy accidentally runs over Myrtle Whitson, Tom's mistress and the wife of George Wilson, a poor mechanic who owns a garage in the Valley of Ashes, a desolate industrial area between West Egg and New York City. Gatsby takes the blame for the accident and waits outside Daisy's house, hoping that she will leave Tom and join him. However, Tom tells George that Gatsby was the driver of the car that killed Myrtle, and George shoots Gatsby dead in his pool before killing himself. The novel ends with Nick organizing a funeral for Gatsby, but none of his former friends or guests attend. Nick breaks up with his girlfriend, Jordan Baker, a cynical and dishonest golfer who was also involved in the affair. Nick moves back to the Midwest, disillusioned by the corruption and emptiness of the East Coast society. He reflects on Gatsby's life and his pursuit of the American dream, which he compares to the discovery of America by Dutch sailors who saw the Greenland as a symbol of hope and promise.